Meghan and Harry, I think it's time to get some new accountants. Welcome to Popcorn Palace. I am Andy Signor, and I'm here with Sue Smith. So good to see you, Sue. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Andy. How are you?
Well, I'm a little confused because if I had the multiple errors and issues that Harry and Meghan are having with their accounting, I would have gotten a new accountant by now because they're either having really bad help or they're covering something up, in my opinion. It's either massive, clear errors that how do you let these errors continue, or you're just not being honest. And I think it's probably the latter, speculation, my theory. But Sue, let's break this down. I appreciate you said this. So here's the latest. This is a couple days. Sorry, I'm a little later to this one, but I missed this one. And Sue grabbed it for me, reminded me because this is important that we call this out, guys. So again, the charity foundation, Archewell Foundation, promised to declare 4 million charity donation, but has yet to post the records publicly. Now, this was back, I guess this was tax return, the 990 form of sources close to Sussex insisting it would appear the following year's filing. However, when the Mail understands the charity filed the new form to the IRS last week, there is no sign of the tax return on Archewell's website. Instead, Mail Online understands Archewell has promised it will publicly release up to 3 weeks after the IRS's deadline, which is December 2nd. Decision has been met with surprise. Leading tax experts said that while delaying the release until the IRS has processed the return was not uncommon for many charities, given Archewell's high profile and the publicity over the undeclared million, in this case, it was puzzling. Cynthia Reed, a private wealth partner at Catton Law Firm, told Mac Online, it was a little odd that Archewell had not posted the return publicly if it has indeed filed it to the IRS. She said that given how famous Archewell is, it's interesting. Private wealth partner added, if Archewell had actually missed the IRS deadline, the charity could face a fine of up to $60,000. Now, again, I'm not good at tax stuff, Sue. I don't know, but all I know is you don't miss your tax deadlines. It's real bad news. That's an issue. There's penalties for late filings. If it missed the deadlines 3 years in a row, tax-exempt status would be automatically revoked. So that's what's also interesting, Sue, is because this is not the first time they've had problems, correct? Can you elaborate?
Yes, I'd be happy to elaborate. So back in May, you have to file paperwork, taxes, and pay fees in order to stay compliant with the Registry of Charities and Fundraisers. Well, I believe it's while they were on their way back from Colombia when we found out that Archewell was no longer in good standing. They had not paid the requisite fees. Now, Archewell came back and said, we sent the paperwork, we sent the check. We didn't realize that the check didn't make it. The check got lost in the mail. But the next day, they claimed that the check was there, but they didn't cash it. I was like, that ranks right up there with the dog ate my homework. So they were delinquent. So they turned around and they paid the fees and they said it was just an oversight. That's not an oversight. If you are a company and you send a check in, you check to make sure the check was cashed. They apparently did not, and they claimed that they weren't notified till whenever, much later, that the check was never cashed.
Yeah, it's insane because all these issues, this has been all throughout the year and multiple years in a row. Yeah, they're going to get their whole charity thing suspended and revoked. Now, again, I can't prove that there's something happening, shenanigans here, but Sue, this is just one of many issues what we've had with the charity. And it makes me really wonder what's actually going on with this charity. I never understand what the charity's actually doing half the time with some of these organizations they've started, to be fair. But the money is even more sketchy to me, of donations coming in or expenses coming out to, help Harry and Meghan's lifestyle is what I worry is happening. Wardrobes, travel, a lot of extra flourishes all paid for, I suspect, by the charity itself, because where else would the money come from, Sue? Archewell itself isn't really making much money nowadays. Harry's got some inheritance and so, etc. But do you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to not think that the Archewell Foundation money and the Archewell Productions money are kind of one of the same, and that a lot of these overly ridiculous expenses to go to Colombia, Nigeria, or these events, maybe would be better sent to not do that and actually just spend more to the charity. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, remember, 95% of all donations can be taken by Harry and Meghan for expenses. So if somebody gave them $6 million and they can say, I need to keep 5,500,000 of that because I went to Colombia and I needed new clothing. That's a business expense, and my flight and this and this. And this is why I don't, if I give money to charity, when I do it here, I do it locally. I give money to my local animal shelter. I give money to my local Meals on Wheels. I don't give to these big charities because it's too shady and you never really know what's going on with the money. It's going under the table here and there. And there's just something funky going on here. I mean, how do you not report $4 million? And how do you not put your tax return up on the website where it's supposed to be while it's being under all this scrutiny?
That's the issue, because again, this isn't about Harry and Meghan. They're going to blame and say we're harassing them. This is about the charity work. And yeah, maybe they do get some more scrutiny than others. They can say that's unfair all they want, but for charity's sake, they should be very transparent and not hiding anything. And they're so sneaky with the charity, which is supposed to be the good thing they do, right? Show up and do good. But that's what's so sketchy about this. And let's be fair, it's not just Harry and Meghan. Let's say a lot of rich people, celebrities, use these charities as sort of ways to funnel money or give their partners something to do. And then a lot of tax write-offs and deductibles and expenses. A lot of people in high brackets, celebrities especially, use it. And you're 100% right. I same thing. When I much prefer to give to the animal shelter where you can tell everybody there is poor because they keep buying more stuff for the cats versus actually making a new building or some other fancy gala, etc. You can tell when real local charities are put the money where they need it, right? And that's the problem with some of these. Like, why Archewell? I don't even understand what half the things they do are just, we are here to support. So we paid to fly out here and say we support them. And it's like, how is that helping the charity? I mean, I'm not even trying to be mean. Like, okay, celebrity endorsements sure can raise awareness, but they're not bringing in new donations when Harry and Meghan brings it up. They're just spending money to show up and act like they're charitable. Do you know what I mean?
Everything they do is self-promotion. Every single thing that they've done in some way. And I hate to go back to this example, but a perfect example is Uvalde, where Meghan went and walked back and forth in front of those crosses. No other A-lister went there because they didn't want to exploit the deaths of those children. And then she goes to the blood bank with some chips that she probably picked up at Costco. She could have spent the money she spent on that private jet that she took with her film crew and her cameras to capture it all on camera. The money that she spent doing that, she could have donated for food for the first responders. And, there's other things she could have done. Everything she did that day was self-promotion. So listen, you said show up, do good, but they show up and they do good by their own records, 1 hour a week.
Yeah. That's the sad truth. And look, I sometimes we're all, oh, you're being hard. No, this one's not hard. We should be harder on them because of this. This is something that they should be all about making sure is there. They're supposedly making enough money, so they're not really. But with all the money that's coming in, you need to be transparent. You have to put it out there. If your whole job is promoting charities, which it seems like that's what their job is these days, is showing up and being charitable, then you better at least be on top of proving that it's all going to charity. So I think more people need to spotlight this. Please spread the word. Make sure you subscribe here and over at Sue Smith's YouTube channel. We got more with Sue this week for the holiday. She's helping me bank some content so I can spend some time with family. Appreciate all you guys so much. So make sure you subscribe to both channels. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for alerts. Smash that thumbs up and let me know what you think down below. Hope you're all doing well. Have a great week. Stay tuned. A lot more coming here on Popcorn Palace.